Hey, good evening. It's Tuesday, May 9th, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. So honored and blessed to have you here on my channel. I'm going to continue talking about the themes we looked at last night in Proverbs 4 about the significance of the heart. And last night we had a thumbnail image of a young boy, very young boy, and the significance of the father, the parents, the mother and dad reaching out to this son to try and reach his heart. Because in Proverbs 4, we read language very close to this. My son, lay hold of what I say with your heart. Grasp these things with your heart. Keep these commands, these directions, and you will live. This is about a central idea, a central thought, a central theme about what is important in life that we're ever going to find. Hold on to these things with your heart, and you will live. The theme for tonight is investing in the heart. Not in information, not in information transfer, not about trying to keep our kids out of trouble, which of course we need to do, but not that, but about investing in the heart so we can reach the heart. Now, the heart is a very elusive thing to grasp, especially because in the English world, the English-speaking world, we have messed up the meaning so badly. Because we have basically defined heart as an emotional activity, emotional state of being, which is cut loose from any kind of logic, reason, commitment, but just something carried along by raw emotion. Nothing could be more distant from the Old Testament and the biblical understanding of what heart means. There's a respected Old Testament scholar in Hebrew. His name is Bruce Waltke, and he's written a massive work, 2-volume work on commentary on Proverbs. And I'm going to read you the definition here. And really, you can't define it, but the explanation of heart and what the Hebrew conveys. And maybe that'll help us a little bit. According to Waltke, the heart is the most important anthropological term in the Old Testament, the one that describes humans the best. But the English language has no equivalent, okay? The English language has no equivalent of the Hebraic Old Testament concept of heart. We don't have an equivalent for that. So we got to toss that all aside. The Old Testament also attributes the person's psyche, his inner functions, to the heart. No other English word combines the complex interplay of intellect, sensibility, and will. This is the heart going on. Our intellect, our sensibility, and our will all combined into one. And this is what produces emotions, but this is not driven by emotion. This is huge. In Proverbs 10:13, we see the emphasis that when a person lacks insight or judgment, the Hebrew says he has a lack of heart. He misunderstands. And then this final little summation. Since the heart is the center of all of a person's emotional, intellectual, and religious moral activity, it must be safeguarded above all things. And that's Proverbs 4:23. And we're going to look at that again. I've looked at it before. We're going to look at it again. So you see, what I'm talking about tonight is investing in the heart. As we've just seen, the heart is everything an inner person is about. No matter what kind of veneer they want to put up, whatever kind of veneer you and I want to put up. What is beneath that exterior? However we dress ourselves up, whatever activity we put in, whatever kind of clothing we have, whatever uniform we put on, the young man tonight is a man who needs to be invested in. He's got a football uniform on. A football uniform doesn't define who he is, but our culture will define him that way. Any more than our physical appearance, the way we look, the fashion, all that. That doesn't really define who we are. It's this inner person that we've got to be concerned with. That's what we've got to invest in. You see, if we're investing in outward things, then what we're going to be doing is trying to give information. We're going to be about transferring information, data, doctrine, ideas. Those things are hugely important in the right context. But they're no substitute for reaching the heart. And if we can get this right about reaching our children with the heart, then we'll be able to branch out from there and reach others as well. So that's why I'm focusing on children here. We have to invest in our children, in their inner person, to give them the contents of our heart. Remember what Deuteronomy 6 is saying. You take the things of your heart and you give them to your children, and you speak about them over and over and over again. Not just teach them diligently in a formal setting, but in the everyday walk of life. So we need to know who our children are. We need to find out what it is, that beautiful, complex heart that God has constructed in that child. And it may be different than mine or yours. Most likely will be. If we want them to know that we know them, we can't know the outward behavior, simply. We can't evaluate them on outward behavior. We can't evaluate them on how well they do their schoolwork. We can't evaluate them on how well they seem to obey us or not. Remember the parable of the two sons in Matthew. One of them the father said, go out and work in the field. No way, Dad, I'm not doing it. And he checks out. Second son comes along and says, oh yeah, Dad, I'll do it, no problem. But the first son, he's the one who comes back and says, I need to go get this done. He goes and works in the field. The second son, he's gone. He just did the outward thing. And then Jesus asked the Pharisees, which one do you think did the Father's will? And they were forced to admit it was the first son, the one who said no way at first, but then went and did it. See, we have to know the heart. We have to know our hearts. We have to know our children's hearts. That's why we have to invest. We need to wade through all the things that may seem unpleasant to us, or maybe it seems unimportant to us, or maybe we just think that's just a childish thing. For that young child, it may be everything. Because if you want to reach that teenager and have a relationship with that teenager, we have to invest in their heart. If we're trying to control them, direct them, manipulate them with information data, information transfer, and putting rules and constraints on them, no. We're going to drive them away from us and drive them away from God. I'm going to keep talking about this. We have to invest in the heart. We have to open our hearts before God, but then we have to do whatever it takes, the hard work, the care, the concern, to know what is in the heart of that young person, that child, that teenager, that little one. If we're going to have any hope of representing the things of God to them. Stop investing in all these kinds of things, education, information, data, rules, regulations. They all have their place, but that's not what's going to make the difference in your child's life. That's not what to give your child. It's not going to help your child know that you know them and that you know their heart. We have to invest. As the Proverbs say, even though it costs you all you have, invest in these things. Investing in information transfer is just investing in manipulation. But if we invest in the heart, that will lead us to wisdom. And we'll keep talking about this. thanks so much for being here tonight. And again, love your thoughts, feedback, and really value it because it's important. These are important things. And the older I get, the more important I realize that they are. Again, thank you so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Thank you so much for watching. It is such a huge encouragement.